Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Disco Kitty, the Crappy Crafter. Today, we're going to be playing with rocks. Not the rock mold that I said I was going to buy because it hasn't come in yet, so maybe next week, but these rocks. I'm excited. Paint pouring. It says it comes with a bunch of rocks, 4 colors of paint, some transfers. This comes with basically the same thing except different type of paint and more colors and some transfers. I'm excited. Let's just get right into it. Alright, let's open these up and find out what's inside. Ooh, Best Toy Award, I guess. I mean, it's rocks and paint, so yay. Alright, we're going to start with the paint pouring one, which comes with only 4 colors and some weird tracking stickers. I don't even know what that means. The decals are pretty, very nice, and they are kind of sticky on one side, which is good, because then you know which side to put down. The 4 colors of paint, the rocks, 2 bags, 5 each. They're not bad rocks. This one here looks like it's all covered in barnacles. It's kind of cute. Now we're gonna open up the other box, which is the just straight up paint on a rock. It comes with a bunch of pretty colors, and those are pretty full too. More of those tracking stickers, I don't know what those are, and more decals. This paintbrush, the bristles felt okay, but the handle was awful. This paintbrush, however, just look at that. Look at that, that's awful. They're 2 different lengths. It's like somebody just took scissors to half of it and just snipped it. I don't know what's going on. I did not use that brush. That brush was awful. More rocks. These rocks are bigger than the other rocks, which I found interesting. But I mixed them all up, so I didn't care which rocks came from which set, honestly. Here I've taped all the corners together because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off one of the large panels and then I'm going to put the plastic in it, and that's where I'm going to do my pour painting. But we're going to do that later. First thing, wash. These rocks have been in these boxes for a while and you can tell they stank, they were dusty. Now it's time to stir up the paint. And this stuff was actually really thick. I was impressed. It's not very opaque, but it's quite thick. And just, I can't paint this rock. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Look at how shiny and pretty it is. Some kind of mica, maybe? I have no idea. So pretty. Different rock. Not quite so pretty. Still a little glittery. You can't really see it here, but they all had a little bit of mica in them. They were very pretty. But just look at how non-opaque that white is. Yeah. The white is going to get 1 layer. Everything else is just going to get, the white is going to get 2 layers. Everything else is just going to get 1 layer, and it'll work pretty well. The red is kind of a pinky red, and that's okay. While those dry, we're going to go into the pour painting. And I'm going to tell you right now, these are going to take days and days to dry. Yeah, see, this is why I have silicone mats everywhere. Because I am a klutz. This paint seems thin enough, but when I start pouring it on the rocks, it just doesn't, I feel like it just doesn't flow very well. I mean, to be fair, I haven't done this kind of stuff before. I don't really do much in the way of pour painting, and that is going to change. I'm going to do a lot more pour painting this year. But I just feel like it doesn't flow very well. Of course, putting only 1 dollop of each color in did not help matters at all. In this round, I'm going to use 3 dollops of each color, and it'll work a little bit better, but that red is still pretty well hidden amongst all the other colors. These are mostly blue. I didn't want them to be mostly blue. I wanted them to be all the colors. Here, I'm going to try swirling it a little. And that'll help some. But there's still not enough yellow in them for me, so this one, these two, I should say, I'm going to put a little extra yellow and white on top just because I want more yellow. And they'll be alright. And these are going to take days upon days to dry. So while we wait, we'll go back. Now that these have all dried up, it only took a few minutes really, because it's just one little layer of paint on each, except the white one, it has two. But still, I'm gonna measure out the size of this little future ladybug's head. And then at some point, I'm going to realize that the decals are black, and I've painted the ladybug's head black. So I'm gonna have to give him a little white face at some point. That'll be coming up soon enough. First we'll do wing details, separate the wings, and then put little dots on the wings. You know, gotta make him ladybug-like. This one we're going to sponge on some clouds. I love using the sponging method for painting. Makes it a little bit more random and a little bit more transparent when you want it to be. It's nice. It also does really good gradients when you do that. With this one, I'm gonna do some dots. Lots and lots and lots of dots using all kinds of ball styluses. They're really meant for clay, but hey, whatever works, right? I did manage to lose the footage of the yellow dots, but don't worry, it's the same footage as all the other dots. Not really missing much, and that's okay. Dots are very, very methodical, very meditative. It was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to do this again with some of the rocks that I will mold myself out of that plaster or casting compound stuff. But I think it came out cute. It's not perfect, but the rock isn't perfect either, so. Gonna put a little rainbow on the blue sky rock. Now, I do screw this up a little bit. You'll notice that I use kind of weird colors. I'll go red, yellow, orange, because what I was going to do originally was I was going to do red, yellow, blue, and then realized the sky is in fact blue and you wouldn't be able to see the blue rainbow portion against the blue sky. So I end up making the blue orange. And it looks a little wonky, but it's cute enough. These decals worked so well. I'm really impressed with them. They took a lot of water, they took a lot of soaking, but they came off really well. I mean, the whole key of it is to just peel up the little bit of a corner just to make sure that the decal is in fact stuck down before you peel up the whole thing. Because if you try to peel it up before it's really stuck down, you will rip it big time. I've done that before, previous ones. Not with this box. I was very lucky with this box. So you can see here, you can see right there, that blue section that was going to be blue, I could have just left it like that and just not even painted it, but it would have looked silly. So orange it is. I don't know, I think it's cute. Cute enough. Next up is the face for the ladybug. So we have to measure out a section of face to make a white background so that we can see his smiling little eyes. And while that dries, all this paint drying, we're going to put this decal. This is one of the gold decals. I was actually pretty impressed with how gold it is. It's very nice. It's very shiny. It's much better than the holographic decals that we'll use later. So simple to do. A child could do it, which is good because this is a child's kit. Just remember, you have to have patience with the decals. They have to be thoroughly saturated with water or they're not going to work. And this didn't work as well as I was hoping it would, and I knew it wasn't going to when I started because black and gold do not contrast very well when they're on top of each other. I should know that from nail art, but I did it anyway. Happy little face came out really, really well. Very happy with that happy little face. Now we're going to take these off of their little pseudo stands, and here we can see, yep, they're still gummy, gooey, and wet, so I'm gonna try to cut off the excess. There will be quite a bit of excess left on there anyways, but that's alright. You know what? It's the bottom. Who's going to look? The next day, because I gave them another day to dry, we're going to play with the decals. Yeah, my favorite rock of these is the one with the yellows and the reds that are really obvious. I mean, blue is nice. Blue is one of my favorite colors, but I wanted more yellows on these. So these are done the same way as the other decals because they're basically the same. You put the sticky side on the rock and then saturate the paper so that it comes off the paper. It's not quite as hollow as I was hoping it would be, but it's a nice silver with like a holographic hint or tint. It's better in some lights than others, obviously. And I was pleased that the paint didn't come right off with water. Neither of them did. That was very pleasant, and I found that to be very exciting because a lot of paints can just be wiped right off with water, you know? Especially anything to do with kids' kits, because washable paints, you know, you don't want that stuff all over everything. Well, those came out simultaneously better than expected, but not quite as good as I'd hoped. So, we'll start with the first ones, with the painted ones. Little decals. The little decals worked really well. I was quite impressed with those, but I mean, to be fair, it's really hard to mess up water slide decals. So, I think my little dot thing came out pretty good. Yeah. We'll have to try that again. I didn't think about the fact that the decals were black, so I had to give them a little white face. Still came out cute. Can't really see the cat inside the heart, but you know, oh wait, it's there, it's there. We can pretend. This one came out pretty well. Luck and peace. Okay, and now for the pour painting. The pour painting ones, this paint was really, really super thick, and it's actually still gooey a little bit. It's been like 5 days since I started this, maybe only 4, but I'm pretty sure it's been 5. And it's still a little gooey. It's still a little squishy. It's still wet. Its paint was so thick. Now, I've never done pour painting like this before, so I don't know how thick the paint is supposed to be, but I feel like this stuff was just stupidly thick. But you know what? It worked for the purposes. If these had been any bigger, it probably wouldn't have worked because it wouldn't have spread and flowed the way it's supposed to. But, you know, that's neither here nor there, really. They came out really cute. I still have all of these paints left, and there is a lot of paint in these. These were all, like, full right up to the bottom of the cap, you know. These had a lot of paint in them. And they're nice and thick paints, you know. They have a pretty heavy body for a cheap paint. But, yeah, they worked really well, I think. I mean, The white could have been a little bit more white, and that's my beef with every white paint ever, is it's just not thick enough. But I think these worked out pretty well. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you would have done differently. Do you think that the pour paint was very thick? Do you think I should have thinned it down with water or with glue? That's something I'm gonna try soon, is thinning down acrylic paints with glue to see if it really does make it flow a little bit better. I got myself a big old gallon of Elmer's glue and we're gonna see how that works. But yeah, that's at some point. Something else I've also recently gotten are actual rock molds. We'll go play with those too at some point because I want to make more dot mandalas on rocks. So yeah, lots of things in the future. So stick around, come back, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to ring that notification bell. And I'll see you next week. So until next time, stay safe. I'd like to sit there, please. More sniffles. More sniffles. Oh, more great sniffles. Good boy. You're such a good boy.